the Met Police will fail to fairly represent London's diversity for decades at the current rate of progress. This has been revealed by Byline Times. It's a bit of an old one, but I do think it's worth us talking about, that is for sure. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here with an article from Byline Times, and it's been revealed that the Met Police will fail to fairly represent London's diversity for decades at the current rate of progress. London's Metropolitan Police have been rocked by racism and sexism scandals of the past few years. Progress at making more diversity is painfully slow. So, obviously, yes, I know it's a bit of an old. It is a bit of an old one. Some of you guys may have seen it, but I think I wanted to dive into this one a little bit more. So before we read into it, I just wanted to talk a little bit about, but in particular, the Metropolitan Police. It has been shown to be institutionally racism and sexism, and one of the things I did talk about the last time we had a frank discussion about the Metropolitan Police is that I do think it should be disassembled, and I think a brand new police force should be done. I don't think reforms are good enough to change the Met Police for the better. I think it should be completely dismantled, but the way you would do it is you would build an entirely new police force from scratch. There's been a case, obviously, that because we have police forces in different parts of the country, that it should be all united under one banner. And I do think that's something that should be considered as well, because we have like Bedfordshire Police and Sussex Police and different police departments from all over the country, and I do think there should be a question of some kind of under one banner of some sort should be looked into of some sorts there. But the Metropolitan Police has failed in many aspects, and it's continuing to do so. Now, that's not to say that every Metropolitan Police officer has failed. No, not at all. I've actually I have met Metropolitan Police officers, and some of them are really nice and some of them are actually very good at their jobs, but the overall picture is not good, and there are too many instances, too many flaws, and there has been little accountability when it comes to the justice of it. And these continuous failures, there needs to be something, and and reform for me is no longer a viable option, because it just costs too much money and takes too long. And I think it would be better, from taxpayers' money perspective, to start a brand new police force. And what you do is you would slowly wind down the Metropolitan Police as you build up this new police force. Now, I would take a few police officers from the Metropolitan Police over, but I would build the police from scratch, redo everything pretty much. And yes, it's going to cost money, but I think it's better for the long term that you build a new police force completely from scratch, as opposed to reforming this current one, because it has failed in too many times in too many aspects, in my opinion. But I'll let you guys see what you guys think of my thoughts on there in the comments down below. But it could take nearly 50 years for the Metropolitan Police to reflect London's ethnic diversity at the current pace of progress, according to figures analysed by Byline Times. 50 years. 50 years. Do you think my idea would be a lot better? Ethnic minority representation among the Met Police workforce as a whole has risen by just 0.5% points over the past year, suggesting it would again take decades to bring up this to being representative of London as a whole, as a recent Casey review into racism recommended. A fifth of Met Police 45,000 strong workforce from a non-white backgrounds, compared to 46% of London as a whole. At the same time, female representation among police officers is rising at just 1% point a year, meaning it could take another 20 years to get roughly 50-50 equal representation. So there's still that female representation of police officers as well. 20 years. And I'm not saying my idea isn't going to take decades as well. It will take decades to do. But I think that is something that we should seriously consider and have conversations about. Now, the constant conversations of reforms is just not good enough anymore. I'm not going to lie, my ideas I have thought about this is coming from what's happened in America with regards to Black Lives Matter, the whole defunding the police, the whole deconstructing of one police force into building up a brand new one. I do think that there is, if a police force has failed too many times over several decades, then yes, there needs to be a complete complete brand new force to replace it, because this one is inadequate. The findings were unearthed by Rob Blackie, one of the two people shortlisted to become London's next Lib Dem male candidate. It's almost a quarter of a century since the McAfee's report said police forces should strive to be representative of the communities they serve. Yet progress towards this has been woefully slow, he told the Byline Times. A concession of Conservative and Labour mayors have failed to hold the Met feet to the fire. Given policies in its mayor's most important responsibility, they're just not good enough. This would-be male candidate added the Mayor of London is effectively the Police and Crime Commissioner for the capital, setting the force budget and strategy. And on the Met's police side progress to improve female officer numbers, he added, "We urgently need to recruit more women police officers to the Met. Baroness Casey report shows that sexist cultures that persist in pockets of the Met Police has contributed towards serious failures to protect women. 20 more years of the gender balanced police force is simply too long to wait." Yeah, we've had way too many there's been too many reports of sexual misconduct from police officers on each other as well. That's just, yeah, it's just, and that kind of stuff is putting off women and young girls from wanting to be a police officer. You know, that kind of stuff. It will put them off. And if you're a parent in that, and your child wants to be a police officer, and you see these stories and hear these stories, you're not going to want your daughter, and you're going to discourage them from being a police officer because you don't want them to go into that kind of world. A Met Police spokesperson told Byline Times, "We've come a long way and have much to be proud of, but know of more work to do. Already, half the Black, Asian, and minority ethnic police officers in the UK work in the Met. That's almost 6,000. 20,000 more officers compared they were over 10 years ago. In terms of our women, more than 100,000 of our 10,000 of our officers are women, around 28%, 3,000 more than over 10 years ago." Nobody's denying that there hasn't been improvement, but is it been enough improvement? However, a spokesperson admitted that only 17% of the Met are from Black, Asian, and minority ethnic backgrounds. "We know we are not keeping pace with London's changing population. We want and need to make quicker progress. Our overall aspiration to be fully representative of London," they added. The force is still reeling from the allegations of systematic racism following scandals such as the handling of the murders of two sisters, Bibba Henry and Nicole Smallman, in 2020. Two officers shared image of their body on WhatsApp groups and were subsequently jailed for 33 months. An independent watchdog report from the IOPC last year shed more light on the shocking racism WhatsApp groups operating amongst several serving officers, while the Baroness Casey review into the culture of the force this spring found evidence of continuous systematic racism in the Met, including against its own staff. The Met Police, after Sir Mark Browning, has pledged a systematic reform, but Sir Mark denies the claim of institutional racism, as did his ousted predecessor Dame Carissa Dick. Yeah, they've done that, and then they just don't. It just doesn't. Changing the person at the top doesn't seem to fix the problem, really. The Met Police spokesperson added, "Recruitment remains a priority for us. Our focus is on the quality of new recruits and ensuring that we bring the right people into the Met. We continue to work hard on multiple fronts to improve workforce representation. The force says it encourages and supports applications under represented groups throughout the recruitment process. Outreach teams also seek to recruit from minority backgrounds. Their work is having an impact," the spokesperson insisted. The new Met for London plan revealed last month aims to rebuild trust and confidence with communities within the capital. "We want to be seen as a career for choice for even more Londoners. This commitment is strong across police staff recruitment." I have seen some of the posters and that kind of trying to encourage people into the police force, but given my knowledge and what's been going on, guys, it's kind of hard to want to be a police officer, really, considering these stories. Now, don't get me wrong, as I've said at the start of the video, guys, there are good police officers. There are good Metropolitan Police officers that do wonderful work and charitable work, and make no mistake about it, they absolutely should be commended for that. But there are still a vast sum of police officers who are letting it down, and we keep talking about reforms and changes for the better, and it's just not happening, guys. It's just not being good enough, which is why I do believe that a complete dismantle of the Metropolitan Police and a brand new police force from scratch should be the benefit for the sake of London. And yes, it will cost a lot of taxpayer money, but I think that would be better for taxpayers as opposed to constantly trying to put sticky plasters on a police force that is consistently and systematically failing us when it has been confirmed that is institutionally racism and sexism in its institute. And that is what I believe. But what do you guys believe? I'm curious to hear what you guys' thoughts are in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think of this? Do you think they are failing to represent London's diversity based on the numbers I've just showed you from Byline Times here? Like, share and subscribe as always. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to catch you all very, very soon.